Hi, welcome back. This is the fourth question of test 1. The question says that your company plans to migrate all its data and resources to Azure. The company's migration plan states that only platform as a service solutions must be used in Azure. You need to deploy an Azure environment that supports the planned migration of the company. So basically, the company wants to move its on-premises resources to Azure and it only wants to use platform as a service solution. And the solution that is recommended over here is that you create an Azure App Service and Azure Virtual Machines that have Microsoft SQL Server installed. So does this solution meet the goal or not? So the correct answer to this question is no. So let's first dissect this question. The key element here is that the company's requirement is to use only platform as a service or PaaS solutions in Azure. And if you look at the components that are proposed in the solution, the components are using Azure App Service and Azure Virtual Machines that have Microsoft SQL Server installed. Now, Azure App Service is indeed a platform as a service offering. So Azure App Service basically allows you to host and scale web apps and RESTful APIs without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. So this part of the solution, which is using Azure App Service, is indeed aligning with the PaaS-only requirement of the company. However, the second part of the solution includes deploying Azure Virtual Machines with SQL Server installed. Now, this particular solution, the part of the solution, falls under the category of Infrastructure as a Service or IaaS and not Platform as a Service, because you're managing the underlying virtual machines, which goes against the requirement of using only PaaS solutions. So in totality, this complete solution is not a platform as a service solution. So if a company strictly wants to stick to PaaS services, so you should use Azure App Service, and instead of using Azure VMs with SQL Server, they should consider using Azure SQL Database, which is a fully managed PaaS database engine that handles most of the database management functions. So to summarize, while the solution leverages some PaaS services, it fails to meet the PaaS-only requirement due to the use of Azure Virtual Machines, which is a IaaS service, not a PaaS service. Now there is a wonderful website called azurecharts.com that represents and categorizes all Azure services as software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So if you want to know whether an Azure service is a PaaS service or any other type of cloud deployment, you can come to the site and get an answer. So for example, in this question, we mentioned two services in the solution. One was using Azure App Service and the other was using Azure Virtual Machine. And we wanted to know which category of cloud deployment types these two services fall into. So if whether they are both PaaS solutions or not. So that's how we can decide, or we can come to an answer for this question, whether the solution meets the requirement or not. So from this drop down, let us select the model and category as PaaS. And under the compute category, we have the app service listed over here, which means that app service is definitely a platform as a service solution. Now let's try to find out Azure Virtual Machine in the PaaS category. So we are under the PaaS category. Let's search for Virtual Machine. So Virtual Machine is here, but it is grayed out, which basically means that this does not fall under the PaaS category. But if we change this from PaaS to IaaS, so you'll find that virtual machine is highlighted, which means basically this is indeed an IaaS solution. So this is a really nice website for learning about different types of services in Azure and what category or what cloud deployment model these fall into. So you can have a look, and if you have any doubts regarding whether a service is a SaaS service or a PaaS service or an IaaS service, you can use this drop down and you can see which services are SaaS, PaaS and IaaS. So that's it guys. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next question.